We might be podcasting again.
We are?
We might be podcasting again.
We are.
We are.
You're welcome.
Hello. I feel like I need to scoot up a little bit. Maybe I just need to adjust this. I don't know. What do we do? Hello. I hesitate to say welcome to the Suburban Stitcher podcast, even though that's what my brain wants to say, because this isn't going to be episodes really, or anything regular probably. But I am just coming to chat with you because it has been a really long time. I would say almost 2 years since a video that wasn't Vlogmas and that wasn't, that wasn't Vlogmas. So I have just felt in the last little bit that I am getting my feet kind of back underneath me. If you do not follow me on Instagram, over the last year, we sold our house, which also is the Suburban Stitcher studio, and we've moved. We built a new house. We are in the new house, and here we are. So this is my office. It is a really big mess right now, because I work and live in it. So yeah, I am testing this out again, and it just kind of feels like the right time to sit and chat with you. I imagine that there will be lots of videos and just kind of little bits about what I've been doing and what's going on around here. And yeah, so a couple of things that I wanted to share with you are some things that something I finished recently, and then a couple of things that I'm working on. If you are a person who watched my videos in the past, then you know that I usually have lots of things on the needles, and I would say in the last 6 months to a year, that has changed quite drastically. I still have a number of whips, but I typically work on 1, maybe 2 items until they're done. And that has just given me a lot of freedom in my brain, and it has been really great to get things off the needles a little quicker. So, and that has also allowed me to really purposely and purposefully work through my stash that I have and I love. And there is nothing like moving all of your stash and seeing it to make you inspired to use a lot more of it. So, and I am quite fortunate to have beautiful things that need to be used. So here is one of those things that I have finished. This is the Inclinations shawl by Andrea Mowry. It's an enormous, big worsted weight, DK to worsted, I would say, shawl, knit out of Spin Cycle Dream State. And it used 6 skeins of Dream State. Basically, you just keep knitting until they're all used up. And I love it. I crowdsourced with some of my friends. I had a different one of the skeins for this end part picked out, and it just wasn't right. So I picked a different one from stash that was from some leftovers, and then I used even more leftovers for this little stripe at the end here to kind of pull it all back to the pink and purpley bit, and I just think it's perfect. I just enjoy knitting with Spin Cycle so much. This section right here is my favorite, the middle section. I absolutely love it. I love the little pop of pink at the end. And yeah, I just think it's super cozy, very wearable. It's a great shawl. You could absolutely knit it with, I think it would be fabulous if you wanted to treat yourself to all 6 skeins, of course. But if you maybe budgeted for 3 skeins instead of 6, and then knit the other half of it in a solid, so that you had one solid color running through, and then your fade or your Spin Cycle running the other way, I think that would be absolutely stunning, and it would be a completely different sort of impact, which is kind of rad. So this is Inclinations, and I purchased this yarn at Hill Country Weavers in Austin back in November when we, Josh and I drove over to Austin to go look for furniture for the new house before we moved, and to try and pick out some things. And I took him by the shop because I wanted to buy yarn for this, and also to say hello. And he had never, I don't think he had ever seen my yarn like in a yarn store. So yeah, so that's what we did, and that was a lot of fun. So that felt really good to buy it, and then within a few months cast it on and knit it, which, I mean, for me, that is pretty quick. I tend to be a stasher. So, okay, so that's one thing I've been working on. Something else, kind of my little agreement to myself, is that I have to finish one older work in progress in order to start a new, fun, exciting project. So I have been working through some of my older whips, and I could go back, and you're welcome to follow me on Ravelry. I am DBB Stitch over there. If you are using Ravelry these days, I do still log all of my projects on there because it's just kind of my journal for all of my knitting. And if you, again, if you are using it, you can find that there, and you can see all of the things that I've finished in the last couple of years. But in the last several months in particular, I have really been focusing on finishing some existing projects, and that's been great. One of those existing projects is my Tweed super simple summer sweater. This is knit out of Suburban Stitcher Tweed DK in a color that is discontinued, but the new version of it is called Gold, and I love it. I love Tweed so much. I'm honestly considering bringing a sock weight Tweed to the shop because I love the DK so much. So I am knitting super simple summer sweater in all one color. I put a picture on Instagram a few weeks ago trying this on for the first time in about 1.5 years, and mentioned that there's a little less ease than there was when I started it in September of 2020, which is just fine, you know, life happens, and certainly the last 2 years have happened. So I am just enjoying the new way that this will fit, and it still will fit, so it'll be fine. I am on the I'm on the first sleeve. I'm going to knit quite a long cuff, so I think I'm probably at a couple of inches, and I want to maybe double this. I want something that I can cuff back. I think I just like that look for this sweater. And then I have another sleeve to knit, and then it will be done. Originally, I wanted this to be kind of sweatshirty. It's a little more fitted than original intentions, but it will be lovely and cozy. And of course, it isn't even blocked yet, so that will loosen and straighten everything out even more. So yeah, so I'm just working on this every couple of days. I knit a few rounds. It's honestly not getting the bulk of my attention because sleeve knitting on tiny circumference in the round is not my favorite, but I'm working on it. And then lastly, part of that working through my stash, I have found myself really applauding old Diane, past Diane, not old Diane. Old Diane is older now than she was a year and a half ago. Past Diane, I'm applauding her for purchasing some things as kits or purchasing yarn and bundling it together with the intention of knitting a specific project. Because when I'm ready to cast things on, I have found over the last 6 months, again, that I am gravitating towards those kits that I have already bundled together for myself because I think I have been very overwhelmed in my real life that I need something, like I need few decisions. So when it comes to that, it's like, good, this is ready to go. Just wind it up. I still like the project. I still like the yarn. Let's cast on. And so this is one of those items. I'm knitting the Slumber shawl out of some yarn. It is a Aran weight from Hedgehog Fibers. And it's going great. The Slumber shawl is by Stephen West. It's a 4-color fade. Mine is, it's an okay fade. I, did what I could. I'm just using what I had purchased previously. I really love this top color quite a lot. And yeah, so I'm on the 3rd color. We're getting very close. I think I maybe have 25 rows left. But it's a really chunky shawl, Aran weight. It's gonna be super soft and cozy and cushy. And it's taking up a lot of room on this too short length of needle that I have it on. Coming up, I have a shawl that I would like to cast on. I will be starting the pressed flowers shawl. I'm actually hoping to have one full shawl complete and then at least one either started or some swatches made. So I am going to be knitting a full one out of Suburban Stitcher Merino DK in these 2 colors. I think it's Sarah, but I am probably going to get that wrong. But Lamb and Kid yarn, she was formerly of Plucky and now she's Lamb and Kid. And she knit one of these out of her yarn in a red and a pink. Now her pink was like quadruple this intensity. And this is like pink highlighter, but a little bit faded. And this is a tomatoey bright red. And I just love red and pink so much together. I'm just completely enamored with it right now. I actually have a dress in these colors. And so I'm gonna knit the pressed flowers shawl out of this. And when I have finished my Slumber shawl, this is actually what I'm going to cast on because I need to get that going. I have events coming up that I will talk about here in just a second. So this is an upcoming project that I want to cast on. And then I always want to knit with Spin Cycle. I am fortunate to, again, past life Diane has spent quite a large amount of money on Spin Cycle yarn, and I have a beautiful quantity of it that I can pull from to knit lots of different projects right now. And I have been really enamored by the Plus shawl by Olga Jazzy Knits. I want to knit a Shifty sweater by Andrea Mowry. There's the other shawl that she just released, a Tune, also Andrew Mowry with Spin Cycle, and then I would need to pick a color for to go with it, but that's an option. I just have so many things that I want to knit. So I'm thinking about those and trying to keep finishing things to be able to do that. I have collaborated with lots of designers in the last year or so. I've worked with Hohi, and I've worked with Leslie Ann Robinson, and you'll see some of those shawls and things over here. I will try to put some video or some photos in of projects that I've collaborated with, and I think I'll have to double check, but there were pre-orders for those kits in my shop, and if they aren't there now, I will try to dye some more up and put them in there ready to ship. Yeah, but I just felt like I wanted to come over here and say hello to you all. As far as shop news, I had a huge sale for my birthday the end of March, and so the shop for ready to ship items is pretty thin. Since we've moved out of our last house, so really for 9 months or so, I have been focusing on kits and pre-orders and Fade Club, and working on restocking my wholesale clients again. And so that has been a huge focus. Another thing that has sold recently that there are still some in the shop are advent calendars for 2022. I'm so excited. The theme is quiet voices, and so you will be enjoying a moment of peace and tranquility and quiet with soft colors and not a lot of saturated, bold, bright colors, but just very soft and gentle. And it will include a pattern from Stephanie of Telly Bean Knits, and that will come as part of the kit. You will get I keep calling it like a deck, but it's kind of like a deck, but a little collection of cards that will have poems or lines of verse just about winter and the season and things to meditate on, and just to have that moment of peace in your day in December, which can be such a crazy and busy month with so many events and weather. So that is still in the shop. We have sold truly a record number. We have sold a record number ever in my history of doing Advents. I think this is year 5, and we have sold so many. I just could not be more thrilled for those of you who want to adventure softly into December with me. So that is something that you can still purchase. I will leave that up, and either until they sell out or until sometime in probably May or June. I'll have to pull some down, but if they're still there, because I'll have to start dyeing them. But they have gone very quickly, and there are still just a handful left. So if you're interested, go ahead and purchase those. I will be traveling again this year to events. I am going to Minnesota for Zombie Knitpocalypse in June. I am starting a few trunk shows again. So I have a trunk show in August. I have, I think, an event in September, hopefully, if I get accepted into the event. And then I have an event in October, and hopefully an event in November. And then already booking things for winter and spring of 2023. So it's an exciting time. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for listening again. And I hope you just enjoy your knitting and have a lovely time. We'll see you soon. So here's the sweater. So If I can show you the sleeve, I definitely want to double this up. I would love to just be able to cuff it up, just like a cozy length. The body. So there's definitely, originally I intended it for it to be a little more positive ease, but obviously there is still positive ease. And again, it's not washed. But yeah, it's not horrible. It's gonna be great. I love the yarn, of course, and yeah, and it'll be cuter with jeans and not these pants.